So an NHS Health Check, the full health check takes around 20 to 30 minutes basically. You need to be aged between 40 and 74, and for our health checks here in Cambridgeshire, you need to be a resident of Cambridgeshire or registered with a GP surgery in Cambridgeshire. And also you shouldn't be already diagnosed with things like hypertension, high blood pressure or diabetes. You shouldn't be on statins for cholesterol, because obviously that's one of the things we check for during the health check. And also not have any sort of heart problem already diagnosed, any coronary heart disease, kidney disease, atrial fibrillation, anything like that. So you wouldn't be eligible if you already had something like that. And also the NHS Health Check is every 5 years. So if you've had a health check within the last 5 years, then you would have to wait until 5 years was up before you were eligible for another one. Even if you're not between the ages of 40 and 74, you can have a health MOT, which is a shorter version. We check your height and your weight and work out your BMI again, and we check your blood pressure as well. Basically, it's like the NHS Health Check, but without the blood tests. And if there's anything that flags up, anything that we think is a risk, then we can have a conversation with you and maybe put in some support if you'd like to make healthy lifestyle changes. It's completely up to you. Yes, so if you've got high cholesterol, that means basically that your heart needs to pump harder to pump the blood around your body. The reason for that is cholesterol tends to form on the insides of your arteries and sort of starts to clog them up a bit. So if you have really high cholesterol, that means your heart works harder. And it can also result obviously in things like a stroke or heart problems. If an artery gets blocked, that can be really serious. So it's important to know sort of early on if you're at risk of high cholesterol. So the earlier you get tested, the better it is, really. So high blood pressure, again, very often the cholesterol and blood pressure go hand in hand, but not always. High blood pressure, again, it can be caused by stress, especially long-term stress, if you've got long-term high blood pressure. It could be age is another factor, and again that means that your heart is working overtime, it's working too hard, it's pumping harder to get the blood around your body again. So and that again can be a risk with things like aneurysm or stroke as well. So it can mean a blood vessel can burst. So again, and people can be walking around with high blood pressure and not even realise that they've got it. So it's really important to get that checked on a regular basis if you can. HbA1c is one measure of your blood sugar level, and it gives you a sort of a longer term picture over time, so how your diet has been over time. And if it was particularly high, that could indicate a risk of developing diabetes. So obviously, as I said, we're not medical professionals, so we can't sort of diagnose you with diabetes, but we would then flag that up with your GP, who would probably send you for another test. HbA1c is one measure of your blood sugar level, and it gives you a sort of a longer term picture over time, so how your diet has been over time. And if it was particularly high, that could indicate a risk of developing diabetes. So obviously, as I said, we're not medical professionals, so we can't sort of diagnose you with diabetes, but we would then flag that up with your GP, who would probably send you for another test. Yeah, so if there are any abnormal results within the health check or from the MOT, we would flag that up with your GP. So your GP gets a copy of the results anyway, but if there was something that was flagged up of particular concern, we would email or send a task to your GP surgery. So you would probably then get a recall from your GP surgery to be retested. And I can understand that people are worried that it might flag something up like high cholesterol or high blood pressure, and so they're worried. They very often would rather not know about that sort of thing. So I understand that completely. But what I'd say to them is it's better to know, because very often you can just make some really simple lifestyle changes, nothing major, that can really help with that. And so I'd say, come along, it's best to know. I know a lot of people are worried about coming in for a health check, and lots of people would say, oh, I'd just rather not know. But I'd say to them, honestly, just come in and get tested. We're completely non-judgmental, we're really friendly. It's a really useful tool, really, that will calculate your risk of developing diabetes, your risk of developing heart attack or stroke, or it flags up things like high blood pressure. And I can understand why a lot of people might be worried about that and think, oh, I'm going to go in there and she's going to tell me this, that or the other, and you need to do this and you need to do that. And that's not what we're about. We're